Hello and welcome back to Anfield Daily News. Florian Wirtz is central to head coach Arne Slot's Liverpool vision. Any player joining for what could ultimately be a British record transfer fee can expect to have the team built around him, and the German playmaker is no exception. Yet questions have been asked about his exact role on the pitch and the impact his arrival could have on other members of Liverpool's squad. Wirtz is a versatile attacking midfielder who primarily played as a left-sided number 10 under Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen. But he can also operate as a false 9 or wide left. In short, he provides Slot with plenty of options. Liverpool's business will not end following Wirtz's signature. Take the expected arrival of Bournemouth left-back Milos Kerkez. This means that we may not know exactly how many missing pieces are in the jigsaw until later in the window. But with Wirtz, we can project the implications for other players, depending on where Slot sees the German's long-term future. Wirtz is a number 10. So, logically, that's where he will play. Right? Most likely, but it is not as simple as upgrading on a like-for-like player who operates in that position. The man who fulfilled that role for Liverpool last season, Dominik Szoboszlai, is a different stylistic profile to Wirtz, and that is likely to have tactical implications. Last season, Szoboszlai balanced being the leader of the press with his all-action work rate off the ball, runs beyond the opposition backline, while contributing to the team's creativity. Questions have been asked about Szoboszlai's contribution in possession, and Slot demanded more output from him early on in the campaign. He finished the season with a decent but not great return of 8 goals and 9 assists in 49 appearances. Wirtz would be expected to improve on that. Those numbers can be at least partially explained by his role out of possession. Mohamed Salah admitted that his off-ball work decreased last season, and that meant the number 10 had to do more running to cover space behind him. There is no debate about whether Wirtz would be willing to do the same work. The question is whether you want him to do it. Wirtz is going to be Liverpool's creative fulcrum following Trent Alexander-Arnold's departure, and that means enabling him to find space and dictate tempo without too many defensive responsibilities, dragging him away from the areas where he flourishes. Among last season's Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga and Serie A players, only Manchester City's Jeremy Doku attempted more passes within the attacking third than Wirtz's 32.4 per 90 minutes. Should Jeremy Frimpong win the battle with Conor Bradley to be Liverpool's starting right-back, that would mean 3 players on that right side who all do their best work in the final third. Salah, Wirtz and Frimpong are a scary proposition for any opposition defense, but it might lead to an increased workload for Ryan Gravenberch and Ibrahima Konate in transition. Wirtz notably played as a left-sided number 10 for Leverkusen, drifting inside to wreak havoc with his right foot. Slot could switch the positions of the number 9 and number 10, like he did in the 3-0 victory over Manchester United last September, but the void behind Salah would still need covering, potentially placing more responsibility on Gravenberch. If Wirtz is earmarked for the number 10 spot, then Szoboszlai may be considered for the number 8 position to rotate or stand in for Alexis Mac Allister. How suited he is to that deeper role is unclear because he has rarely played there, but while a small sample size, his performance against Brighton and Hove Albion in the penultimate game of the campaign was encouraging. Arguably, the midfielder who could miss out more is Curtis Jones. As the campaign went on, he became the 4th option in the 4-player rotation Slot used. While he was essentially second choice for all 3 midfield positions, his status may drop further if Szoboszlai, who Slot really values, is a contender for the number 8 role. Harvey Elliott's tone when speaking about his future has changed in the final months of the season, and the move for Wirtz just underlined that he seemingly has no future at the club. Having been restricted to cup starts and cameos, the attacker's arrival would limit his opportunities further. What's clear is that Slot has favored the physical attributes possessed by Szoboszlai, and compared to Elliott's, they are opposites. Wirtz is almost a hybrid, more technically gifted and creative than Szoboszlai, while also possessing better physical capabilities to relentlessly press than Elliott, the new number 9. Referring back to the jigsaw puzzle, a Darwin Núñez exit and no striker incoming makes Wirtz playing as a false 9 more probable. Slot largely played with a central striker last season, but occasionally adopted a 4-2-4 system involving 2 attacking midfielders through the middle, as Jones partnered Szoboszlai at the top end of the pitch, most notably in December's 2-0 victory against Manchester City. Slot lavished praise on Paris Saint-Germain, who also opted not to start with a recognized number 9, following their Champions League meeting with Liverpool, and the French club ultimately won that competition. When Luis Diaz led the line for Liverpool, the setup was similar, with the 28-year-old dropping deeper into pockets of space alongside Szoboszlai. December's 6-3 victory over Tottenham was the system at its most effective, and the Colombian became the preferred option when everyone was fit, hinting at a change in Slot's thoughts on that role. Wirtz would have to adjust to not having a central number 9 ahead of him, but his football intelligence, decision-making and speed of thought shouldn't make trying to find his wide attackers, making out two-in runs with precise passes a problem. Diogo Jota's minutes would take a hit should Wirtz cement his place there, while Diaz would return to primarily competing for the starting left-wing role with Cody Gakpo. If Slot wants to retain Szoboszlai's strongest traits and not be forced into a more significant tactical shift, then the 4-2-4 should appeal. It will also provide a strong midfield square of technical quality in the center of the pitch. The aim should be to provide Wirtz with as much freedom as possible to roam and impact the game. Playing as a false 9 or as a second number 10, alongside Szoboszlai, may offer exactly that. Left wing. Diaz and Gakpo were Slot's senior options on the left flank last season. Both have been linked with moves away from Anfield already this summer, with the former once again subject to interest from Barcelona and teams in Saudi Arabia, while the latter has been tentatively linked to Bayern Munich. Slot rotated the pair at the beginning of last season, before he moved Diaz centrally following an injury to Jota. It allowed Gakpo to excel in the left-wing role, finishing the season as Liverpool's second highest scorer with 18, while Diaz became Slot's preferred number 9 option for a large portion of the campaign. If both stay, the expectation would be that Slot continues to primarily use them in rotation on the left. That would be even more likely should a new number 9 also arrive, although it opens up the possibility of Wirtz playing off the left and drifting inside with a left back, probably Kerkez providing the width. The common theme of Liverpool's attack last season, however, was creating opportunities for the two wide forwards. Neither Jota nor Nunez carried a consistent threat from the central role, and Diaz had his own issues there, too. With Wirtz becoming the creative mainstay, it makes less sense for him to take up one of those wide roles, although Salah proved it was possible to provide a huge danger to the opposition, playing out wide during his record-equaling campaign. Instead, pulling the strings centrally while also carrying a goal threat seems the clear solution, whether that's as the number 9 or number 10. Where would you love to see Wirtz play for Liverpool? Comment below. Make sure to subscribe this channel.